After the long-awaited release of Chapter 295, the world of Blue Lock was completely shaken. The Neo-Egoist League arc, which has given us so many incredible moments, is finally reaching its conclusion. However, as this arc ends, it sets the stage for something even greater, the much-anticipated U-20 World Cup arc, which is already making waves in our hearts. This chapter had everything. Humiliations, incredible performances from Aryo, Nagi, and Shigiri, the end of several speculations, and plenty of surprises that left fans thrilled. One of the biggest theories in the fandom was that Ego would deceive us all, and that, instead of selecting only 23 players for the World Cup, the list would expand to around 30, just like in real-world football. This would have meant that most of our beloved characters would be saved. But no, Ego confirmed in this chapter that only 23 players will be chosen, and Fukaku is very likely to be one of them. This means the team will take 2 goalkeepers, leaving players like Zantetsu, Hiragi, Igarashi, the hype man Aomori, or Nanase completely out of the project. I personally think the decision to stick to 23 players is perfect, even though it's sad that some characters will be left behind. Removing suspense and stakes from the story would be boring. Now, most of our heroes will face real consequences if they don't always compete at the highest level. This also eliminates the possibility of Hiragi or the smoke seller Aomori making it to the World Cup. In fact, with what we'll discuss later and the reveal of Blue Lock's new Volume 33 cover featuring Loki, it's clear that neither of them will have the spotlight we once thought they would. Even Sendo got a cover, but hey, that's up to the mangaka. The 23-man roster is getting tighter by the day. Moving on, many of us thought that the Manshine City vs FC Barca match wouldn't just be a Nagi showcase, and that the mangaka would highlight other characters like Chigiri, who had been important from the beginning. And that's exactly what happened. From the start of the match, Chigiri played a crucial role. Not only was he actively involved, but he also scored the first goal with a shot that is now unstoppable. No one can block it. It's insane. Ryo and Nagi have already realized how valuable Chigiri is. They know he's one of the best players in the project and that he rarely makes mistakes. That's why at the first opportunity, they didn't hesitate to pass him the ball, allowing him to open the score. They understand how important this match is and how crucial it is to keep Chigiri engaged. If they can set him up in the perfect position to unleash his lethal shot, even better. Personally, I'm thrilled. Chigiri is one of my favorite characters. Seeing him finally achieve something this incredible and develop an unstoppable shot is sublime. That being said, considering his constant evolution and his importance to the project, his injury becomes more and more concerning. As much as we don't want to think about it, the possibility of Chigiri re-injuring his knee and having to abandon his dream is growing. It's heartbreaking but true. Despite that, Hyoma Chigiri has shown tremendous growth thanks to his experiences. Now, with his improved physique and shot, he is undeniably one of the most valuable players in Blue Lock. No one can deny it. Finally, in this chapter, we got to see the strategy that Nagi and Ryo have come up with. Miike devised a brilliant plan to ensure that both he and Nagi make it to the World Cup. They understand that ranking too low in the final selection could be problematic. That's why Aryo proposed a different approach. Instead of obsessing over scoring goals themselves, they would focus on playing for the team, making themselves more complete players. We already saw this strategy in action with Chigiri's goal. Ryo rebuilt the play, sent a great pass to Nagi, who, acting as a pivot, set up Chigiri perfectly. From his ideal shooting zone, the red-haired speedster smashed the ball into Barca's net, giving Manshine a 1-0 lead early on. This game plan is very smart. Their previous obsession with scoring made them too predictable, preventing them from evolving. They were always seen as two players who repeated the same play over and over. By changing their approach and playing more for the team, they have become far more valuable ahead of the World Cup. How do offensive players increase their value in the Neo-Egoist League? Simple, by providing assists or scoring goals. And that's exactly what they're aiming for, contributing to the team's scoring without necessarily having Nagi be the one to finish every play. Seishiro himself explains this when Bachira and Otoya ask if he no longer wants to score. He clarifies that it's not about refusing to score, but about doing so when the opportunity presents itself naturally. This allows for much more organic growth, both individually and for the team. Even Chigiri acknowledges and appreciates this change in playstyle. Honestly, if they had played like this from the start, Manshine would have ranked much higher in the tournament, I have no doubt. That said, I still believe Nagi will score in this match, and it will be huge. For now, he already has his first assist, and Ario orchestrated the play like a genius, so their stock must rise. But there was one more major moment in this chapter. And honestly, it proves that the mangaka clearly has a bias toward Rin. Yes, I understand that Rin displayed incredible qualities in the match and even scored a goal. But let's be real, PXG lost because of him. Yet somehow, they hype him up as if he were the highest value player, even though his selfishness and obsession cost his team the match. It's absurd. The author keeps pushing the idea that Rin and Isagi are equals, giving them the same market value. But let's be clear, they are not the same. Rin is worth 240 million, but he lost, and Isagi has finally caught up to him. Even worse for Rin, Isagi was crowned the Neo Egoist League champion and led his team to victory by playing for others while still shining himself. Meanwhile, Rin ended up looking like a selfish player who can't be controlled and who failed when his team needed him the most. Does Isagi deserve 240 million? No. He deserves more than Rin. Isagi was the best player in the league. He understood the game, played for his teammates, adapted to every challenge, and was involved in nearly all of his team's goals, proving to the world what he's capable of. Sure, he scored fewer goals than Rin, but his goals were far more valuable. He always prioritized what was best for the team. Blue Lock has shown us time and time again that adaptability is the most crucial trait. And that's exactly what Isagi Yoichi has demonstrated. The mix of joy and surprise among Isagi's teammates as they watch him become the #1 player, contrasted with the disappointment of Rin and Kaiser in the background, is absolutely spectacular for those of us who are fans of the most egoistic egoist in all of Blue Lock. Blue Lock is back with a fantastic chapter. And no matter how much the mangaka insists on portraying Rin as a Chad, the truth is, we're starting to see him for what he really is, a crybaby who can't get the job done. Thank you, Isagi, for taming him, for putting him in his place. Keep educating them, Isagi. Keep educating them.